Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 26th. We're just going to jump right in here, Aries. And in your current general energies, you have this potential card. I love this card. And you have this freedom card. So there's the potential for freedom. And I think it's going to come after you bring something to an end here with the world. The world is about kind of like getting to the next stage. Sometimes. I don't think that's... sometimes it can just be a completion. You have a lot of completion energy here, actually. The Four of Wands can represent wrapping something up. The Four of Wands outside of marriage can represent the end of like a project or, getting to the next stage. Like I said, you're stepping through a portal. You have two portal cards here. And then you have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is all about kind of like an enthusiastic new beginning. Yeah, this reading is playing out very nicely, I would say, here, Aries. I would definitely call this like a level up reading where you're taking something to the next level or you're having a complete new beginning. It doesn't matter which one it is. I think it's going to be very successful, like whatever you're doing here. Or like, whether you're completely starting over, starting from scratch, or, kind of taking your business or your life to the next level. It doesn't really matter. This to me looks like a big kind of improvement, level up type of reading here. Again, you have the world. I got that, I immediately felt like this was taking something to the next stage is more, the word that I would use for the world card in your reading. Because, I don't know, that's just what I feel like. And, I feel like there's some sort of kind of next stage that you're moving to. You could be upgrading a business, changing your business. You could be getting a new job. Like all those things are popping into my head. Obviously, you are all different. So there's a change happening here with the world, and I do feel like it's going to be very positive. You have the Page of Wands here. I feel like you're feeling more enthusiastic, and if you're not, again, it could be like this week, beginning of July, basically, where you're starting to feel more enthusiastic, more excited, more like, kind of ready to go. So I feel much more motivated here. I feel like you feel much more motivated as well, which is really nice. So if you're trying to like build something new, or take your life in a new direction, this definitely feels very, very good, Aries, and I feel like there's a lot of potential. Again, one thing I will say about this potential card is that it is a mountain. we will always experience mountains in life, but I always say, like, where do you get the best views? At the top of a mountain. So it is going to be worth it to put the work in to create whatever it is that you're creating. You have the Four of Wands here right next to it. I want to show you this first. You have the Page of Swords looking at the Four of Wands. So there's a couple of things here. Number one, Four of Wands is the card of freedom in the tarot, and you have the freedom card as your first card here in this row, which is very interesting. But the Four of Wands can again represent completing a project, or it kind of represents a finish line. This kind of represents a finish line right here, completing something. And again, it's a portal card. There's a portal here with people celebrating on the other side. So some sort of change is going to lead to a celebration. We see it this way. You have death. You have the sun. The death and the sun card actually play very nicely together. We'll talk about that in a minute. And you have the Chariot, which is about setting yourself apart. So like whatever you're doing to set yourself apart, I think would be amazing for you right now. I also think that you need to do more research. Like clearly, if I was being super picky about this reading, really good. But having that Page of Swords look over to the Four of Wands here, it's just intuitively saying to me that for you to be, like, there are things you have to learn. You're not going to just, like, take your business to the next level without, like, learning how to do it. So, do your research. Don't be afraid to learn new things, or, you can learn pretty much basically everything on YouTube for free. So, there's no excuses nowadays. But with the world, you have the King of Wands. You are on top of the world here, Aries. Like, I feel like this is just you showing up here. I mean, it is you. King of Wands is your card, but, I feel like you're kind of, like, on top of the world here. With the Page of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Quick success, definitely. So we see a lot of success here, but again, the success is going to come through following your desires and moving towards your happiness. Page of Wands and the Sun. The Page of Wands, he kind of follows his enthusiasm. And pretty much, I don't know what it is, but basically everyone this week has had something about really needing to like move towards things that make you feel enthusiastic, things that make you feel excited. I believe that that's the time that we're in the first place. But, so again, this isn't going to magically happen, but if you start working in this direction, you are going to gain speed. With the Four of Wands, you have the Strength card. Yeah, you've been very patient. Like, you've been putting in the work, and you've been, kind of doing the things you need to do to be, to get this success. Again, I want to stress that this isn't going to happen overnight. I feel like I shouldn't have to do this, but sometimes I get comments that make me wonder, like if people think that we were born in the gumdrop forest where things just magically happen, little leprechauns move things around and do work for us. So if no one's ever told you that's not where we live, we have to do work, we have to make things happen. Tarot can't make anything happen for you. So if you understand that, great. Next in the area, what you need to hear right now, you have this turkey spirit says, give with grace and gratitude. You have the stag spirit that says, take the lead. Again, you're going to have to take the lead. Nothing, there aren't little elves working behind the scenes to make things happen for you. So, there are no Keebler elves in real life. So it's time to put in the work and start working towards something that is exciting you with that sun card. Again, I'm convinced I would have 10 times the amount of viewers if I did say that, there is some easy button solution coming in for you. But again, that's just not how life works. So, there is work to be done, but it is a very positive reading. So, I feel like you need to take the lead. The turkey spirit, turkeys are symbols of abundance. So I do feel that there is a lot of abundance that could be coming in here. You have the sun, the death card, and the page of swords. The death card and the sun are kind of tied together. Right here, the sun is coming up between the two pillars that are on the moon card. So in a lot of ways, this can kind of represent that you are entering into a sun period. You are entering into a time, especially when I have a reading that has the sun and the death card. To me, it suggests that you're entering into a period of warmth, a period of growth, a period of abundance, a period of things kind of improving for you. But there are things that you have to do. Number one, he has this dead king underneath him. The dead king kind of represents the fact that even kings die. Even kings aren't immune to death. And so what it means for us is that, there are certain things that you might believe that need to die. There might be certain beliefs you have that belong to the old you, but they don't serve the new you. So, it's what are those beliefs? Do you believe, if you want to make $10,000 a month, do you believe that you can only make $2,000 a month? If that's the case, then obviously you need to start, brainwashing yourself, changing your beliefs so that you know that you deserve more money. So, and it is kind of interesting because I feel like something is catching up here. I feel like I said this to you in your last reading where I was saying something about how it was like a catch-up reading where, it's almost like part of you is still lagging behind, but once it catches up, I feel like that's where the momentum is, if that makes sense, where it's maybe you want to make $10,000, but it's maybe once you actually believe it, that you deserve it, that's when it will happen. So it's I see something kind of catching up here. It has to do with your beliefs and letting go of old beliefs and forming new beliefs. I also feel with the death card, there's a child here. The child is the only one that's not panicking based off of this death rider that's right there. And it kind of represents the fact that children are excited by newness. They ask a lot of questions. They're curious. Page of Swords, it's time to be curious. It's time to be a detective. It's time to look for other ways of doing things, time to learn as much as you can. So, I kind of feel that here. I also feel it's time for you to explore different tools that you have at your disposal. You go up to the magician here. The magician doesn't necessarily think this or that. He doesn't think I can only fix my money blocks with affirmations, for example. He might just think, well, maybe if I just, do the work and make the money, then I'll believe it. He doesn't care how he does it. He just kind of cares that it happens, and he's willing to use all his tools at his disposal. Same thing in business. It's if he's growing a business, he might be using his creativity with his wands, but maybe he needs to use his emotions. Maybe he needs to add more emotion to his business. Maybe he needs to learn more with the swords. Maybe he needs to use more thought, right? So it's I kind of feel that here where it's you're actually mixing tools, or you're maybe filling in some gaps. You have the sun, again, obviously the best card in the deck, so I do feel like there's a lot of happiness and just good, good energy, obviously, in this reading. Let's see. With the sun, you have the emperor, again, twice, basically showing up as yourself here. Really I feel it's an amazing time for leadership for you, so I would be taking the lead on anything you can. This could include at work, if you have a boss that's hey, we need someone to take the lead on this project, do it. It might lead to a raise or a promotion or something like that. With the death card, you have the temperance card. Temperance is transformation, and clearly death and temperance together is, some sort of big transformation. The whole entire reading is talking about a transformation. With the page of swords, you have the queen of cups. Super important that you follow your heart at this time. So like more heart-based energy, because again, I say this to everyone because it's very important. Everybody always leaves me a comment. You say this to everyone. Yeah, no shit. Number one, because it's literally that important. Number two, what I would say is we are in a time of heart-based energy. It's like if your heart is telling you to do something, you need to do it. The reason this is a problem is because society, the world, is telling you don't do it. So, again, following your heart is going to be the thing that makes you very successful. Trying to fit in and listening to what everybody else is telling you to do, not a good way to be successful. I do also feel that there could be love coming in, someone very nurturing, probably an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo, or a Capricorn. Just based off the world card showing up here. It could be another fire sign as well. You have the sun and temperance, and it could be an Aries, Leo, or Sag coming in for you. But I feel like it's someone who's very like emotionally available and someone very intuitive as well, with the Queen of Cups showing up there. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Teeth card. It says control, change. You are in control of this change. Chariot, like literally the first card. You have the Moon. It says cycles and change. There you go. You are clearly in a time of great change. Like you have every single card that represents some sort of big change. Sorry, I hit this camera. I just gently tapped the focus ring on this camera, and now it can't focus. But what I would say here is that, again, clearly, you are in a time of great change. You are in a time of, significant change. You have the Chariot, the Three of Wands, and the Ten of Wands. The Chariot is about taking control, kind of like making things happen. He is the card of hard control. He really takes control. I feel like you have been in a period of soft control. There are basically two cards of control, the Strength card and the Chariot. The Emperor can be controlling, but, these are the two cards of control in the tarot. And the Strength card is soft control. It's basically like not really, it's doing things more internal, working on yourself, stuff like that. It's not necessary. It's more passive, right? The Chariot is about like taking control, making something happen. And I feel like that's the energy that you're in with the Chariot. I also feel it would be an amazing time to set yourself apart. With the Chariot, especially in like work, business, and all this other stuff. It's funny because, I get so many comments about people worrying about AI. I'm like, yeah, but what you don't realize about AI, like let's say you're using it for your marketing, for your business. I get that comment all the time. I'm like, what it spits out is all the same. So everybody's going to look all the same. So if you just don't use AI and use your brain and do it the old-fashioned way, you are going to stand out. You are going to be different. So again, everybody's always worried about AI, but the thing about AI, it's all going to look the same, whatever it is that you're doing. So, don't be afraid to be different, and don't be afraid to set yourself apart with the Chariot. And the Three of Wands is kind of about getting out into the world, going on some sort of adventure. It is a card of taking the lead. So, clearly it's a time for you to take the lead and make something happen. I also think it's time for you to expand into the universe. It's like the universe wants you to grow, wants you to be more expansive. But again, part of that is I feel like there are things you have to leave behind to be able to grow, to be able to expand. You have the Ten of Wands, which is like carrying a lot of burdens. It is kind of funny that, like, in some ways I feel the more successful you are, the more simple, life becomes. It's like, I think about this channel. I don't work any harder necessarily than I did when I started it. It's like, it's pretty much the same work. Are there other things that I do? Yes, but it's pretty much the same, right? For the most part, my videos are a little bit longer and all this other stuff, but it's like, I don't work that much harder. So, like as far as this is a much better use of my time than it originally was, right? And, it's kind of a hard thing to explain, but, there's a theory of economic mass. Basically, if someone has a bunch of money, right? And you have not a lot of money, but both people put a certain amount of money into an investment, the person who has more money is going to make more money because they're able to put more in, right? But bear with me here because there's something going on here. I feel like it's like your life is becoming more mass. I'm not saying that you're getting bigger here, Aries. I'm saying that it's like the things that you do, while it might seem like the same amount of work, I feel like you've gained some mass, but it might not be money. It could be like your knowledge. Maybe your knowledge carries more weight because of the things that you've gone through. I also feel like you could be just creating leverage. Like obviously I have employees for this channel, which makes it I can do 10 times the work that anyone else can because I have people who do it for me. So it's like when you start implementing leverage into your life, it becomes a lot easier. I'm not saying you're hiring employees, but it's like there are things that make life easier. AI is probably going to make life easier. Do I think it's as great as people think it is? No, but I use it every freaking day, right? I use it to come up with ideas. I use it to plan things out. I just don't use it as, I don't let it write articles for me. I don't let it, like a lot of people are like that. I don't let it create videos for me, right? A lot of people are doing that. But I use it for like kind of structure, things like that. So it speeds things up, right? So I would be, I don't know why I care about this in this reading, but I do. So maybe you are worrying about it, or maybe you want to use it. I don't know. But either way, I feel like this whole row is kind of talking about some sort of leverage that you could be getting. But it could also, like I said, it could just be your knowledge that you have now, what you've learned, all those things. And with the Chariot, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence and success. So I feel like you are becoming more successful. I feel like you are becoming more independent. And I just feel like there's a lot more success coming in for you with the Nine of Pentacles in general. So love it. With the Three of Wands, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Are you kidding? This is like the best reading you've had in a while. No clickbait, right? This is legitimately the best reading. Ten of Pentacles, I feel, is something that you are working on. Again, it does not surprise me. I think I've said this to you before. It does not surprise me at all that an Aries would be working on building, leaving a legacy right now. Pretty much we all are because of all the energy in Taurus. I think most people have a stronger desire with Taurus to build security. It's like, when you think about it, building or leaving a legacy is long-term security. And, that's what people are focused on. But I feel like you're really focused on it. So you could be like really making your mark in the world. You could be doing things to stand out or to build or leave a legacy. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Fool. Definitely a new beginning. We talked all about this, the World at the beginning. Literally in the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we just start all over again as the Fool. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Peace card and this Imagine card. I feel like you are kind of in a position of peace. I love this Imagine card as well. She's kind of dragging that moon down to earth, and it represents bringing something that you are imagining down to earth. Again, it might sound clickbaity, but really with Neptune and Pisces, I tell everyone to, take your wildest dream, multiply it by 1,000,000 and, kind of start working towards it. Whatever your, million times your goal is. If you want to make $1 million, just say to the universe, I want to make 1 trillion, right? Because then when you make 20 million, you're not going to be disappointed, right? So, I'm a big fan of, one of my favorite quotes of all time is from Les Brown. He says, it's better to aim high and miss than it is to aim low and hit. So it's like most people set a goal for like $1 million and they just make $1 million. It's like big whoop. It's like $1 million isn't even that's nothing nowadays, right? So, it's like, wouldn't it be better to make that 20 million, right? Or to, live as much as possible, to grow as much as possible. And that's like what I encourage people to do. And I always get comments from people that are like, how much do you need? And all this other stuff. I'm like, you're coming from a position of lack. There is more than enough. They literally just print the stuff if we're talking about money, right? And it's better in your pocket, right? So, I always tell people, it's like, I encourage people to grow and live as much as possible, make as much as possible, do as much as possible, because we need to get away from the lack mentality. That's what the evil bastards in the government want. They want us to think lack, less. You have the Magician, think as much as possible. You have the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. The Magician is all about a new beginning and creating your own reality. So again, I feel like it's an amazing time for you to create your own reality here, Aries. I always pull the card that he's pointing to, and I feel like he's pointing to this one right here. You have this Anchor card. It says stability and security. I mean, really? Curveball. That's what the whole entire reading is basically about. You have the Queen of Pentacles. You're increasing your resources. I'm telling you right now, whatever you're doing, like for those of you that have work or business, whatever you're doing there is clearly increasing your resources, or it will be shortly. I also do feel there could be, like, I wouldn't really call this a love reading. I feel like this is an expansion, change, transformation reading where you are expanding, but there could be love coming in. And again, it could be a Capricorn. Or they could have Capricorn in their chart. You have the Six of Pentacles, and again, I was saying something about leverage. It's like, maybe you just understand where to put your time. And again, this channel, right? The one thing that I do that is different is I put the time that I do, I put it into the things that actually move the channel forward. That is like one big difference, I would say. It's like, yes, the work is basically the same, but the things that I focus on to work on are actually have much bigger impact than what I was doing. Like in the beginning, I was just doing a video. I wasn't really, doing anything to promote it or plan it or come up with ideas or anything. So again, it's the same amount of work. I'm just using bigger levers, if that makes sense. And again, I feel like you're doing this in your life. With the Magician, you have the Five of Swords. Definitely some sort of separation that you've probably dealt with in the past. I feel like you're healing from a separation. This row is the good stuff, but I do feel, again, I don't try to make the rows fit if it doesn't fit, right? And I do feel like there has been some sort of separation or something like that. There's like, I feel like there's a new beginning, or you're creating a new beginning because of it. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, are you kidding? Like, definitely changing your fortunes here. And with the Six of Pentacles, you have the Moon. The Moon, again, is important in this reading because of the Death card. So I feel like you're seeing something through to the end, or, again, you could be leaving behind a Moon period and stepping into a period of clarity in life, or direction, whatever the case may be. So I love this reading here, Aries. We are going to pull 5 main themes now, and we're going to see what else wants to come up. You do have this affair card. This is a good card. It's not like a bad affair. It's just like love entering into your life. And you also have this companionship card. So I do feel like there could be a true companion coming in for you. I'm going to skip forward, actually, to your last card, because the last card says criticism on it. I feel like this is what you've experienced. Like a person where it's like nothing you did was right. And I feel like you're getting, if you want love, might not be coming in this week. I kind of feel like probably not. But what I would say is I feel like you could meet someone in the near future, and I feel like it's someone who's very much more positive, and they aren't like criticizing you all the time and stuff like that. You have this domination card. I feel like you are dominating, if I can say that word, in life. Clearly, you're coming out on top. Again, I feel like you're like on top of the world with that King of Wands. You have this loss card. Definitely, I was getting something about loss with that Five of Swords. Again, some of you could be like have buried yourself in work to avoid this Five of Swords at the end there. It's like literally your only negative card, which is crazy to me. This many cards, you'd expect something, but what I would say here is I feel like you could be healing from it. This card is Saturn and Pisces. We have Saturn and Pisces right now. So, just something to think about, that maybe you've experienced a loss since Saturn went into Pisces, and, I feel like you're kind of like healing through it. You have this companionship card. I feel like a true companion could be coming in for you. Could also be a Libra I'm getting here as well. But overall, I'm not going to overcomplicate this reading. I feel like it's very good, very simple. So love it. Thank you for being here. I would focus on leverage, by the way. If there are like new things, new techniques you can learn in business or work or your love life, whatever you want to improve, I would look for like things that create more leverage. For the most part, leverage can only be gained through experience. But luckily, there are little things called books where you can get someone else's experience, and you can learn from people who have been through what you are going through or whatever, and you can solve your problems faster. So there you go. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, and definitely enjoy your week.